So today we want to talk a little bit about second streams of income or third or fourth streams of income, right? Because a lot of times we say, I'm using we in like the collective, right? Not just Sybil and I who are here with you today, but just we often say, gosh, we don't have enough money. I wish I had a little more money. If I just had this much more money. But a lot of times we aren't sure how to go about getting that money, right? We already feel busy. We already feel overwhelmed. We can't imagine getting another job. And so today, what we want to do is share with you some of our second streams or extra streams of income that we've had throughout the years and kind of share how we were like unexpected entrepreneurs. It wasn't something we set
Whoa.
out to be, but both of us kind of were from the beginning, and we're excited to share some of those things with you today and hopefully spark some inspiration on ways that you could create an additional stream of income.
Welcome to the Female Finance Collective podcast, where we encourage women to have open and honest conversations about all things money.
I'm Jen, and I struggled for many years with debt and feeling financially overwhelmed, so I know how frustrating it can be.
And I'm Mary Lee. As a financial planner, I've had the privilege of working with hundreds of women who've transformed their financial lives.
Hey, I'm Sybil. I built my dream life traveling the world and creating financial freedom on a teacher's salary.
Let's start the money conversation.
Yeah, this is going to be such a fun conversation, Jen, because really, like you said, it can be stressful to think I need to make more money. That's often a stressful thought, right? But when we can start to reframe it and we can start to be inspired about the cool ways that it could actually be fun to make some more money and the kind of things we can do with our life intentionally because we're choosing to make more money, right? There's basically two things we can do. We can cut our expenses, or we can make more money, or we can do both. And that's our ideal, right? Obviously, we talk about this a lot here. Like, we don't want you to not do anything you like. We're not talking about that. What we mean is there are fun ways to make more money. There are intentional ways to cut your expenses that don't feel bad. Instead, they feel the opposite. And so Jen and I are going to share some of the ways that we've done that. And some of them have probably been more joyous than others. I'm not going to speak for you, Jen. But one of the first ones that comes to mind for me is we were a young family living in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. I was a teacher. My husband was a teacher, and we wanted to have kids soon. And once we did, I was going to go to part-time teaching. And so I knew that I could live a frugal lifestyle like I already did, but I also would need to somehow make some more money. I didn't know anything about making more money, except now looking back, my dad was very entrepreneurial in different ways. But one of the first things I did when we started having kids is we needed all these toys and clothes and stuff. And we realized there's a huge market in the area we were living amongst a lot of other young families. And every summer there'd be garage sales. And we would go to those garage sales and buy toys, like Little Tykes playground equipment and stuff was a huge hit. We'd fix it up if we needed to, clean it up, let our kids play with it for a while. And then if it wasn't a hit or we wanted to sell it, we would sell on, at that time it was Craigslist and eBay.
Mhm.
But that was really our first gig, and we'd make like $1,000 in a summer just doing that. So it was very seasonal. It was very on the side. It benefited our kids' like lives and our money lives. But I think that's a powerful thing that was my first kind of side hustle because it was joyous and it did serve so many purposes. And I started to see, oh my God, how else can we make money, right?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Right.
that's a fun one for me.
Yeah, I love that one because it's a little bit out of the box, right? You weren't, you were creating kind of a project, so it was fun and also benefited your kids, but also made money, like all the
Yep.
things, right? The very first thing I can remember, well, I'm not going to go back to when we were children, but like when we were little and we had a single mom, we used to do all kinds of side hustles at her office. She worked for orthopedic surgeons. And I would like photocopy the charts back when nothing was digital, right? And I would stand at the copy machine and copy these hundreds of pages that none of them had time for. But I was like, I'll come after school if you're going to pay me, $5 an hour or whatever it was. So always little things like that. But the first job that I can remember having as like a second stream of income, I was teaching. I was like, I just don't have enough money. And I started working at a retail shop. It was like an art, kind of like a gallery shop, is how I'll describe it, in a gallery store. And I enjoyed it. I loved the people that I worked with. It didn't add to my stress level, right? Teaching can be a little bit stressful, and this job wasn't stressful. It was just fun. And I would go one weekend day a month. So that was helpful for them to get somebody who would come in on a weekend. I still made sure I got a day off, right? So I would either work Saturday or Sunday. So I still got one day off to rest. And then during the holidays, I would pick up extra shifts. So sometimes I would even drive up and work like 4 hours in the evening, or I would work both weekend days. But that was short-lived, right, during the holiday season. But it was a way for me to have some additional income. I mean, this was a long time ago, so I wasn't making very much money an hour. But and I was probably adding like another 100, $150 up to 250, depending on how many hours I worked into my monthly income, which was fantastic because it just allowed me a tiny bit more freedom. It would allow me to either put money in savings or pay an extra amount on my credit card, or save up for a trip or whatever. It just made a really big difference, and it wasn't a huge time commitment. So I think sometimes when we think about getting a second job, we're like, oh, I'm going to dread it. But you can find things that are fun and enjoyable for you, that, think about, like, oh, if you love chatting with people, like getting a coffee shop job for like a one weekend day, you go and work at a coffee shop, that wouldn't feel as stressful, right? It's a little bit of a break, but still some income. I also
Sorry,
think,
can we pause? Because I've got
yep,
an itch in my throat.
nope, you're good. I'll just cut it out. Yep.
Sorry, let me. Okay.
Better?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we both shared long stories. So should I say something like, yeah, like connect those stories
Yeah, or you can just go on to your next
and
thing.
then just go on to the next one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I forgot what my
I was
like
just
connector was. You were
I was
sharing
just
about,
talking about like you could get a second job, right? And work,
yep,
but something that you enjoyed doing, but still brought in some
yes.
extra income.
Okay. Yeah, so I think both of our examples really show how, one, they were something that were joyous to us, and two, that we could make extra income at like a period of time, right? Both of our first examples were seasonal. And I think that's a great way to start, because what's happening is it starts getting rid of the ugh, making more money sucks attitude of I can actually do this and that was fun and I could do it again next summer or I can do it again next Christmas. And it starts to change your brain chemistry to be like, oh, it's not bad to make more money. How else can I make more money? Right.
Right.
So as I said, I was a part-time teacher. So I started selling these toys and that wasn't going to be enough. So I started blogging and learning how to code HTML. And then I was like, that's not enough. I need some more money still, but I want to be home with my kids. The whole point of going part-time is to not find another job when I can't be with my kids. So I was like, I have to find a job. Like the kids go to bed at 6:30. They're babies. They're little. And actually, Jen introduced me to my next side hustle, and that was working at the University of Phoenix teaching classes at night. So the way we did that as teachers was it was like one night a week. The class was like 6 to 10 p.m. Right. And then I had grading and stuff outside of that. But it was amazing because my husband could just put the kids down that night and like I didn't miss my time with them. So thinking about like what kind of side hustles match your timing at this moment in time, it's okay that in 5 years, that moment in time, my kids will go to bed later and I might not like to work till 10. I can let that one go. So we
Mhm.
really need to frame it at this moment at a time, like what's my timing that I need to use, and then what's bringing me joy. So I enjoyed that too, teaching adults at that point.
Yeah, that was a fun job. I enjoyed it a
Uh-huh.
lot. I think I learned a lot, which I
Yes.
is like a bonus, right? Of a lot of these
Yes.
second streams of income is you learn things, you learn new skills, you learn I don't know, just new things about myself that I didn't know before. And I thought that was a great opportunity that just provided some flexibility and extra income, right?
Yep.
That
It
one
was
night a
really
week
great.
and then some grading, either in an evening or on, I would chunk off times on the weekend to work through my grading. And,
Yep.
I just thought that job was a really good opportunity to make money without this huge commitment of time, right?
Yes.
Um, I did a lot of other things that had to do with being a teacher. So if you're a teacher listening to this, I think a lot of teachers know these, but I taught summer school sometime, not every summer. I would sometimes sit on committees or supervise clubs after school because those would pay a small stipend. So I would do those types of things. I had a network marketing business with Young Living for a while, for several years, and I really enjoyed that. I thought, not this is the facts, and people are going to have feelings about network marketing. But some network marketing companies are fantastic and some are not. Some people in a particular company are fantastic and some are not, right? It doesn't matter what kind of a job it is. You're going to have great people and you're going to have people who are not so great. You're going to have companies who are amazing and companies that are not so amazing. So we're not advocating that you go out and I won't speak for Sybil. I'm not advocating that you go out and like start a network marketing job. It's really hard work, but there is an opportunity there if you do some research and find a company that you really like. That's a great kind of, I hate the term side hustle. I feel like it gives a bad connotation, but it's a good opportunity for a second stream of income.
Mhm.
Um, then I got into, that sounds funny, real estate. My husband and I purchased a condo and we use it as a long-term rental. So it doesn't make us a ton of money, but our money is safely invested in this. We were really thoughtful about the property that we bought. We knew that it was a desirable property in a desirable area. And so we've just been using that as a long-term rental for several years. So that brings in a little bit of extra money every month. And then long term, I think it'll really benefit us when we're able to sell it as well.
Yeah, for sure. And we continue to have like more in common. And Jen, I think it's because, like I said, I mentioned I learned about night classes from you, right? And so those of you listening up right now, listen up. Like there, you just need to hear a lot of ideas and then just go talk to AI or Google and just say, hey, what side hustles would be good for me? How could I make more passive income? Know that also passive income, no income's truly passive, in my opinion. Maybe we can get there, right? But there's problems around all these words. We got to figure this out,
Yeah.
because it's not a bad thing to make more money, especially in the ways that we're talking about here on this podcast. So be inspired, ask questions, because that's how you and I found out so many of these things.
Right.
Um, so I also played with network marketing a little bit with Discovery Toys. Again, served my family really well at the
Mhm.
time. Money and toys for them to play with that were high quality and educational, which was really hard to find kind of back then,
Mhm.
feel like. And then I too got into real estate and indexed fund investing, and those are making ways to make money, and they're really important ways to make money because those are sometimes bigger sums of money. Well, but not sometimes, usually, and at the same time, they're long-term
Right.
games. Right? I can resell toys and make some short-term cash flow in the summer. But if you're going to invest in real estate, you need more to invest, first of all. And then second of all, you got to let it sit there for, I would argue, at least 10 years, but people say five at a minimum, right? So those are important long-term games that I've been playing to make more money. So then we can use that in 10 years, in 20 years, whatever we're kind of indexing that towards. Um, and then, so that's interesting, Jen, to kind of be meta about the way we both went, right?
Mhm.
From pretty small side hustles to some bigger ones. And it makes sense with our aging. And then, after that, basically, I decided I wanted to take the leap, meaning I wanted to leave my 9 to 5, right? And so some of these income streams were starting to actually become cash flow and income streams, the rental business, the Airbnb, and house hacking and all these things. But to do that, a lot of people struggle to still take the leap. If you're out there listening and you want to move from just making more money to taking the leap, what my story is independent contracting work. It's still these same kinds of things. I started consulting for Aaron Kent Consulting at international schools because, again, I was a teacher. It's what I knew and loved, right? So I went and found like consulting to make a little bit more money. I started working for Faye, which I learned about Jen again from Jen again. I'll let her tell you about the amazing Faye that we both do. I started tutoring, right? So because of the history, it's like, whoa, now I can actually piece some things together to see if I can take the leap. I wrote a book. I learned how to sell on Amazon. I learned how to post and be a community owner in school, right? And so it's really cool. Actually, this has been a neat reflection to like see my hierarchy, or not hierarchy, but my movement of like selling grudge sale toys to like taking the leap and being an entrepreneur now independently.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes, I think it's so fun to look at how everything progresses, right?
Yes.
And I said at the very beginning, we sort of were like accidental entrepreneurs. I don't know that either of us set out and we were like, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I'd like to build a
No.
business. I don't
I was
even
a
know if
teacher for life, literally. Yeah.
right. And I don't even know that I would describe myself that way now, but I love exactly what you said. I love teaching people and sharing and educating. And so that I just have kind of like figured out how to make that work for me or done things that are sort of like part of that or related cousins of teaching, right? Um, Throughout time. I left my job for a different reason than Sybil, right? She was just ready to like do something different and like build her own business. I was moving a lot and having to relicense in every state. And I hit a point where I told my husband, I'm like, I am sick of retaking the test every time we move. And I'm sick of going through this process. Like, what else can I do? I want to shake it up a little bit. So that's when I created a digital course and kind of started on this path of educating women about finances. And I needed income, right? That doesn't just like magically make you money, for sure. I work with Faye, which is what Sybil shared, and Faye is a company that we're like fractional personal assistants for families or individuals, just busy people who need a little help working through their to-do list, right? It can be business related where they're like, hey, I just need help returning these work emails or for my company, or it can be something like, I need you to make kids' doctor's appointments or meal plan or help me with my finances or help me with budgeting. It can honestly be anything. There are very few things people ask for that someone FA will not do, right? Or cannot do.
So true.
Um, and so that has really been, I think, a fun thing for both of us, right? We've
Mhm.
gotten to, again, learn new things, try new
Mhm.
things, new skills, new information. I was researching something the other day and I was like, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think I would be like trying to figure this out. And so that's also been a really fun opportunity, a way to flexibly make money.
Yep.
I'm still working. It's not just happening. I'm still working and putting in the time, but the time is flexible and
Yes.
it allows me to also do other things. And I think that's like the biggest piece of this is finding something that works for you. But for people who say, I just saw someone the other day and they said, I have filled out 500 applications and I still don't have a job. And I get it if you're really trying to like stick in your field in one specific thing. And I understand that. And I am not trying to discredit that because I know how valuable that is and people really feel passionate about their career. But I also want to encourage people to like think outside the box a little bit. There are things you can do. There are so many opportunities if we do what Sybil suggested and just start listening and paying attention, right? I know someone who just they enjoy cleaning their house. Like that's kind of their jam. They just like seeing things get clean. And so they started doing that for somebody on the weekend. Just like, it's just a little extra income, but they spend a few hours on a weekend cleaning someone's house for them and they make money doing that. So start thinking and listening and understanding, learning from what other people are doing. And and realize that it doesn't have to be like, it can be joyful, right? It can be something
Yes.
that you enjoy doing. It can be something that actually benefits you because you're learning or you're gaining new skills. And just get creative with it. It doesn't have to be this like drudgery, right? I feel like it used to be that way. Oh, I have to get a second job, and it would be this like torturous thing. But there's just so many opportunities out there now. I just encourage people to start doing a little research and asking questions.
And just try, just go for it. Take the risk. Try it out. What's the worst that could happen? Ask yourself that. What's the worst that could happen if I took on this independent contracting tutoring job for 3 months? What's the worst that could happen? I could love it. I could hate it. Okay, then you have some options, right?
That's right.
Um, when you reframe it and you just kind of force yourself, it gets so much easier and so much joyful so fast.
That's
Because
right. You can also
this,
flip it. You can say, what's the best that could happen? Right?
yes,
The best that could happen. Ooh, I make
yep,
some extra money and I meet some cool people and I learn stuff I didn't know I was going to learn, and maybe it
yeah.
turns into something else bigger. You just never know. The older I get, the more I value connections, that sort of
Mhm.
network. And I don't mean like networking where you have to put 1,000 names in your phone. Like that's not what I'm talking about. But just like you never know who you're going to meet, what people are
Oh
going to
my gosh.
share, what you're going to learn.
Mhm.
Like there's so much value in all of that. And it is a risk, right? You do have to like
It
put yourself
is.
out there a little bit. But if it's something that's important to you, then it's worth it. I think it's worth it.
It's worth it. And I encourage you all to brainstorm a list for you. If I wanted to make some more money right now, what would I do? Just dump it out. Don't judge your thoughts. Just write them down and let it sit. Don't touch it. I have whiteboards with some dreams and some different ways I can make money and some things I'm going to do. And they just sit there. And if I come back to them, I do. And if I don't, I don't.
That's
Right.
right.
But get it out of here, because the creativity that can happen once you do that is a beautiful thing.
That's
Yeah.
right. So we can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear what
Yes. Tell
you
us.
do. Like, share. Do you already have like a second stream of income that you want to tell us about? Do you have questions? Do you like let us know? I want to hear what people come up with, because that to me is what's so fun and exciting about it, is hearing how it impacts other people as well.
For sure.